r/entitled parents, episode 6. Entitled Mom at Starbucks. Years ago in college I worked at a Starbucks near a high school or middle school. We always had an after-school rush, with tons of kids getting frappuccinos. If you've never worked at SBs, you probably don't know how the drinks are made. So I'll inform you on the magic of the caramel frappuccino. It's basically ice, sugar, milk, sugar, coffee base, whipped cream, sugar. The coffee base comes to the store as a powder, and they mix it with warm water at the store. We don't brew it there. So I get this maybe 12 to 13-year-old girl ordering a CF. No extra requests, just the standard drink. I made it, so I know it was made correctly. I was a trainer, and shift supervisor, and had a fancy black apron. She brings the CF back, complaining that the coffee tastes burnt. I actually laughed. It's basically just coffee flavoring. And if you've ever had one, they don't taste like coffee at all. So I kindly explained that, well, the coffee in the drink isn't brewed, and it all comes from the same place. So yeah, of course I'll remake it, but it will definitely have the same flavor. I offered to do extra caramel flavor and topping, to make it even sweeter. She agreed. I remade the thing, asked her to try it to make sure it was better this time. I even tried a sample of that pitcher in a tiny cup to make sure nothing was off about it. Like maybe there wasn't enough water in the mix. It was fine, so I called the girl up to the counter again, gave her the second frap, told her to keep the first one. OMG. So like an hour later Mom comes in with the kid. She was demanding I give them their money back. She was all made because I was rude to laugh. I tried to explain that sorry. It's just really funny, and I wanted to explain how the drink was made so the kid could order it the way she likes it next time. I also explained that we don't give cash back. I gave her a brand new drink she was happy with, and offered a free drink card for next time. No go. I'm calling corporate to report your rude behavior, blah blah blah. I gave her the phone number, and said, be my guest, all with a smile. TLTR, Mom was angry I laughed at a silly comment. Edit, the hot chocolate story here ya go folks. My entitled mother, not disabled, parks in the disabled parking and gets a fine she refuses to pay. My mother is a mega Karen and I have 16 years of stories to tell about her entitlement. Here's yet another one. This happened in 2004 when I was 14. We'd just moved from Australia to New Zealand. The town had a population of around 12,000 people, which was a big step up from the town we moved from, around 2,000 people. It seemed like my mum's entitlement got worse by having an extra 10,000 people for her to annoy. Within a month, my sister and I had settled into our new schools and Mother Dearest found her preferred, cheapest grocery store to shop at. I should mention that my mum is not disabled, but did that stop her from parking in the disabled parking spot? Nope. The first month went fine, until my mother got lazy. Whenever we went grocery shopping she would always complain, while walking towards the entrance, that there was never anyone parked in the disabled parking spot, and she would say things like, I don't see why I'm not allowed to park there, and there's nobody in this damn town that need it. Anyway, this last comment was total BS on her part, as there was a paraplegic who lived in the town which she knew about. And regardless, those spaces are for disabled people, not her. Then one day, me and my sister were in the car while Mum was driving to the grocery store. We usually parked close to the front door but to the side where there were usually a few spare parking spots. I was expecting her to stop there but she didn't. Instead, she drove all the way to the front and parked in the disabled parking spot. Me, Mum, this is disabled parking. You can't park here. Mum, of course I can. The spot is vacant. Me, it's illegal for you to park here. You'll get a fine. Mum, no I won't. I have the right to park here if there's no disabled person parked here. I don't see any disabled person. Do you? Quote, me, whatever mum, but you're going to get a fine. I got out of the car and walked across the street to the park. I didn't want to be seen with my mum, but I wanted to keep an eye out for the parking officer or police person who I knew would come. Even in a small town, the police were very diligent about rule breakers. And sure enough, 10 minutes later I saw a policeman walk up to the car, check the license and lack of disabled sticker and write a ticket that he placed on her windscreen. I sent Mother Dearest a text that I'd meet her at the petrol station when she was done. I didn't want to be seen getting into her car, but I made sure to hang around so I could see her reaction when she saw the fine. Sure enough, 10 minutes later I saw my mum come out of the store, see the ticket, and she flipped out. She started cursing and stomping her feet on the ground like a child that lost their toy. Only in this case it was a fine of $80. I chuckled to myself as I walked to the petrol station a few blocks over. I got there a few minutes before my mum did, and I could see the anger on her face as she got out of the car, slammed it, and started filling up her tank. Me, faking concern. What's wrong, mum? Mum, you shut your mouth. Quote, I smiled and got into the car. When we got home my mum got straight on the phone to debate the parking fine. I overheard the call. Mum, yeah, I got a fine for parking in an empty parking spot. There was nobody else parked there, but I had to park there because I have a bad leg and can't walk that far. What? No, I don't have a sticker. That doesn't matter. No. Hold on. What? But. No. Disabled. No bit. Oh, you stupid beeping asterisk 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 asterisk, I'm not paying this fine. And she hung up. A month later I'd assumed she'd paid the fine, but obviously not. She got a letter in the mail regarding an unpaid fine, which was now $100 due to relayed payment. Mum went to the courthouse and paid it, but I didn't hear the end of it for 3 months after that, as she'd complain about it any chance she got, making out like she was the victim. I wish I could say that she learnt her lesson, but she didn't. She parked there a few more times and, shock, horror, got more fines. A Karen never learns. Edit. Just to clarify, I am disabled now but wasn't back then. My injury happened in 2007 when I was 17. I've written the full story on here in case you want to know more. Give your sister your iPad and stop being selfish. So this takes place a couple of years ago. My sister was 3 and I was 15. And my mom decided to techno-raise her. Yep, you guessed it. Instead of toys it was tech. I had been gifted an iPad in the Christmas of 2012. Only 3 years before this story takes place. And it was my baby. Now my sister had one of those kiddie tablet things to play with, instead of normal toys, and yet saw my iPad and started shrieking. S my sister, M my mom, me, Emu myself. Emu is my friend's nickname for me because one person mistyped my name one time. S iPad iPad want iPad. M Emu give your sister the iPad now. Me, what? But she has her kiddie tab and she's watching Peppa. I'm watching my show because I don't like Peppa. M, well, watch your show on the TV. She then proceeds to rip the iPad out of my hands, deletes my favorite games and installs little kid games instead. Me, Mom, you had no right to do that. M, who bought you this iPad? Me, ever the smartass Santa. S, ho ho ho. M, go to your beep room right now, you selfish bitch. Me, can I have my iPad back? I need to look stuff up for homework. M, no, go to your room now. Your sister wants the iPad and she deserves it because she ate all her vegetables today. Me, and I got an A in maths. What do I get? M, oh wow, someone called the newspapers. Emu did good in a test. What do you expect from me? A medal. Me, I just want to not be treated like this. M, like what? I give you a house, and food and clothes. Let your sister have the iPad. S, iPad iPad. I watch in horror as my iPad is thrown and look at my mom. See what you did, you selfish cow. She then looks and sees that it's dead and slams me in the chest. What's that about? Charge it and give it to her immediately. About 20 minutes later she barges into my room and sees me researching stuff for a project. What are you doing with your sister's iPad? Me, it's mine and I'm researching stuff for a geography project. No you are not. Give it to your sister NOWWWWWW. At this point my sister was upstairs playing in her room and starts crying when my mom starts screaming. See, she's crying. It's because you're being a selfish cunt and won't give her what's is hers. Me, this is mine, remember. It was given to me. For me. At this point I was on the verge of a panic attack because of all the screaming directed at me and I was scared I was gonna get slapped. You're a selfish little cow and I hope you learn to treat your sister better. She then stomps out, slams my door and brings my sister downstairs to watch Pepper and then enters ESD. My stepdad, who's also somewhat entitled, ESD, or what's the sad face for S. Emu, refused to let her have the iPad and slapped her when she tried to take it. ESD stomps upstairs into my room and rips the iPad from me, breaking one of my nails in the process. ESD, this is your sister's until we can get her a nicer one. For reference, my iPad is the second model to have been released and it still works today. Me, but ESD, no excuses. He then slams out and they have family time and I'm only given the iPad when it's dead again and it's time for dinner, which I'm forced to eat in my room because Em and ESD didn't want me around. I'm 19 now and S is 7 and can't survive without her tablet, 2 phones and the TV. She also has a tantrum if she can't watch something and refuses to do anything else but play with ESD's phone, Em's phone or her tablet. Meanwhile I still have the same iPad which works but won't update past iOS 7 and an iPhone 6 I got second hand off my aunt, which I love. It's my baby, and I'm protecting it with all I have. Em slapped after her kid stole my console. First off, I'm sorry if I misspelled a word. English is not my first language. Entitled mom. Entitled kid. Dad. This happened 6 years ago so I don't remember every small detail. The fence that is facing the N was kinda old so we took it down and rebuilt it. The of the story was a 5-year-old boy I think that ran around his yard every day and when he saw the opportunity he entered our house and looked through our stuff. We told him and his mom about the entrance in our house and she said he is only a child and doesn't know what he is doing. The fence was done after 4 days. It was a big fence. One time I was exhausted after the work and I entered to drink a glass of water and think about life or something while I was resting on a couch and I saw with the corner of my eye a small gremlin entering my room. I was shocked. I shouted at him and he ignored me. I shouted again and he took my Xbox 360. It was on a table. And he ran. The first couldn't catch him. He ran back to his house with me chasing after him, but he was quick. He entered the house and locked the door. I knocked and I knocked till the N opened the door. Me, your beep child stole game, She slapped me and said, "Don't speak with me with that language, idiot." My angel didn't stole anything. I screamed for my father to come and speak with Thappy Pan. She closed the door in my face. After 2 minutes I came back with my dad to recover my console. Give back the console or I will call the police. Go ahead beep, I will press charges on you. We called the police and 2 police officers arrived after a while. PO1, what seems to be the problem? Me, that kid stole my console and would give it back and then slapped me. PO1 knocks at N's door. Mom, open the door. Go beep yourself, I didn't do anything. After 5 or so minutes of arguing, N opened the door. PO1, Mom, give back the game or you will need to come with me. He is 2-year-old. I was 10 at the time. For it, my kid needs it. PO2, Mom, that's not a reason to steal something. No. Fuck you and your stupid game. She proceeds to enter and get the console. And of course she wouldn't give it nicely, she actually threw it with full power at me. Of course it shattered, and of course she was obliged to pay for it, and of course it broke my tooth somehow. PO2 handcuffed N and got her in the car and she spat him. PO1, do you want to press charges? And of course I said yes. Long story short, she was charged with trespassing and assault and she was arrested. I don't know what happened to the kid, but the family moved after a while. Thank you for reading, smiley face. Sorry if the story wasn't good enough. Entitled Aunt Killed Her Baby by Not Giving Her Vaccines. Hey guys, remember my friend Mike and his crazy aunt who ruined her life in a few seconds? Well, he made a Reddit account and wanted to post more stories about his aunt, but his account isn't old enough, so he wants me to post his story on my account, so here it is. Everything is from his perspective. If you don't know about my aunt, she is basically what an anti-vax, racist, sexist, flat earther, anti-gamer could walk or talk. Now she has 2 children, Carl and Susie, and they had to sit through hell and back while not getting burned. Also congrats to Susie for getting married last week, yay. My aunt wouldn't get them vaccinations and yet they survived, and for days she kept saying, see, Carl and Susie are doing just fine without vaccines, even though they commonly get sick and would miss school. The story takes place a year from now. My aunt was pregnant and was ready to go into labor, and of course she didn't want to get the baby vaccinations. So we were all sitting in the hospital. Me, my mom, Carl, Susie, and even Daniel was there. The sudden typos 1210. The cast. Me. Entitled Aunt equals Aya, Daniel equals D, my mom equals M, Carl equals C, Susie equals S. So after a few gruesome hours in the hospital, the baby was finally born. It was a beautiful baby girl and we were all so happy. But happiness can turn to dread. After a few days of the baby being alive, it died of a virus. It's called rotavirus. And she called my mom at movie night and my mom put it on speakerphone so me and Daniel can also hear it. Aya, hey hey Aya, I got some news. The baby died. D and me, what? Aya, yeah, we're at the hospital after the baby had a really high fever and kept vomiting, and then the doctor said that she died after being infected with rotavirus. MOMFG. Aya, don't worry, we will be there. Aya, don't worry, you can just come to the funeral and then we can have a nice little party. Aya, you cared about a party rather than your own beat daughter. Aya, ugh, I don't see what the big deal is, I can just try again. M was just silent, rubbing her forehead. D, what do you mean try again? That was a baby. A baby. Not just any baby. But you freaking daughter, it had a life to live and you care about a party, you freaking prick. Aya, shut up D, keep talking like that then I won't invite you to the funeral. Alright motherfucker. D was just standing there, I can see the rage in his eyes. He's the quiet kid in class. The one who will sing Pumped Up Kids while bringing a Glock to school and dance like the Joker while causing mass murder. Me, Aya, that's your daughter. Aya, you know what, shut the beep up. One more word about my daughter then all of you aren't invited to the funeral. She then hangs up, while we were in awe. D, freaking prick. She has no disregard for a life. If I had a gun I'll make sure that to save a life, then I must take one. Me, dude, don't be like that. D, whatever, I going to bed. A few more days passed and we attended the funeral, and while we entered the church, Aya insulted Dita. The lines of "you're in a church so don't bring your terrorist Islamic influence in here, okay bitch." We attend as per usual. C and S were giving a speech about their baby sister and Aya was sighing, rolling her eyes and kept looking at her fake Rolex watch. After the funeral, Aya drove off, immediately leaving C and S behind. So we took them to my place. Message A that C and S were at our place. C, I can't believe it, our baby sister is gone. Me, it's not your fault. It's D, it's your mom's fault. If she would give your baby sister a vaccine, none of this would happen. All thanks to her for not trying to accept that she is wrong about vaccines. S, I was so excited. But now, a few hours passed and Air is still not back yet, so we just all stayed up watching some movies. But chugged cola and played poker for Doritos. Air didn't even return until dawn. She was drunk and she took an Uber, leaving her car. C and S just dragged their mom back into the car and went home. Sorry if this is too long, I just want to blow off some steam. Entitled Mother Lies and Ice Cream. I was out getting some exercise yesterday, stretching my legs on the seafront when I saw two women having an argument. Well, one woman seems to be trying to have an argument while the other looking pretty confused. Shouty woman, SW, had a crying girl, CG, behind her, while confused woman, CW, has a boy and girl. SW, why did you make my girl cry? CW, sorry, I don't think we did. SW, yes you did. Look, points at CW's children. CW looks even more confused. SW, they have ice cream. CW, what's wrong with that? SW, I told CG they'd run out. CW, okay. SW, you have to throw that ice cream away and apologize to CG for taking the last of the ice cream. CW, but it isn't the last, they're still selling it in the cafe. They were. SW puts hands over her child's ears. Just say it anyway. You don't want to make my baby think I lied to her. CW, she can see they're still selling ice cream. It's right there. It was. The cafe was less than 10 meters away. SW, well, I don't want my girl to have any. She's already too fat. Crying girl, who I'm pretty sure could still hear everything her mother said, was not fat. If anything, she looked like she could do with eating a bit more. CG starts crying louder. SW, see what you've done. Apologize and tell CG they ran out of ice cream. SW continued to demand CW's children throw away their ice creams, and CW apologized and lied to CG to cover her own lies. CG was still crying as I left earshot. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more Reddit content.